Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, today we begin our adventure through division. Now what I hear many times is that people tell me I'm not good at division. So then, I'm going to tell you this. If you can multiply and subtract, you can do division. How many have ever played the game 21? Where you're trying not to go over 21?
Oh.
You want to get as close to 21 as you can without going over?
We played that in the beginning of the year.
Okay. So, you know, you can do it with basketball. There's also a card game called that. Okay, think of that when you're thinking of division. You don't want to bust. You don't want to go over the amount. Now, why does he mean multiplication? Well, because this is how we're going to multiply. Because some of the numbers you're going to get, you can't do in your head. If this was 47, I don't know what 47 times 5 is. So I would end up having to work it out. So what you're going to do is you're going to take your divisor, which is the number on the outside. Number on the inside, your dividend. Let me ask you, Matthew V., how would you say this problem?
5,286 divided by 30.
Okay, let me ask you another question, Matthew V. Actually, I don't even need to ask you that. So many people yesterday and on the posters were saying 30 divided by 5,286. Whatever you say first, that's what's being divided into pieces. So give me a division problem, Matthew, Cheyenne. I just lied about Matthew. Cheyenne, give me a division problem. 32 divided by 4. That's how you write it. Whatever you say first is the dividend. It's what goes on the inside. It's what's being broken into parts. So now what we're going to do with our divisor, we're not writing, unless we want thrown out in the hall what you have on your desk right now. Okay, we have to use two-digit divisors in 5th grade. It's not as easy as 32 divided by 4. It's not. I'm going to tell you that. But we can get it right, just like we can get 32 divided by 4 right every single time. First of all, Ian, in the number 5,286, can you tell me where the decimal point is? Good. 6 is in the ones place, so the decimal point is in the ones place. When we get to dividing decimals, that's important. And anytime, if you need the decimal, you just move it straight up. Okay? And you've done that. When you did 32 divided by 4, you did 8, your decimal point's right there, and that's 8. So you see it, that's the same thing. It's exactly what you did, you just didn't write it down. And some of the problems you're doing will have to write it down. Now, what you're going to do is you're going to take your divisor, which is 30. I'm going to do 30 times 1, 30 times 2, 30 times 3, 30 times 4. And I'm going to go through and list that.
That's a pain in the hiney, Mr. McMurdo.
I know it's a pain, but it's going to help you get it right. Can you count by 3s, Caroline? Okay. So count by 3s for me. What's the first if you're counting by 3s?
3.
What's the second if you're counting by 3s?
6.
What's the third if you're counting by 3s? 9. So that's 90, 120. 30 times 5 is 150. 30 times 6 is 180. Now this is why we do this. Because you're going to end up listing a bunch of the multiples if you guess and check anyway. So we might as well list them all down here to make my life easier. Now the part with don't bust. Ian, does 30 go into 5? No. I can't take 5 and divide it into 30 equal groups. All right, so Ian, does 30 go into 52? Yes. That means my first number I'm going to have has to go over the 2. Every other space, every other number behind the 2 is going to have a number above it. That's important. Putting the number in the correct place is important. Because that's how we make silly errors. It should be 906 and you guys put 96. Because you didn't put your numbers over the correct place. So now Ian, how many times does 30 go into 52? I can look here. 30 times 1 is 30. What is 30 times 2, Ian? 60 is too big, right? That would bust. So I need to go to 1. So 30 times 1, what did we say 30 times 1 was, Ian? 30. Now when I subtract, I cannot ever, when you subtract, have a number bigger than your divisor. So that's why it's important to write these down, because you want to not bust, you want to get as close as you can to that number without going over. And Ian, what is the difference between 52 and 30? Yeah. $22. Okay, is that greater than 30? No. So I'm good. And I bring down my next number. 228. Okay, I need to continue with my multiples of 30. 30 times 7 is what?
210.
210. Because 3 times 7 is 21. So 30 times 7 is 210. 30 times 8 is 240. Okay? So what's as close as I can get to 228 without busting, without going over? Gloria?
30 times 7.
Okay, 30 times 7. Because 30 times 7 is 210, and 30 times 8 is 240. 240 is too big. So now above the 8, I have to have a 7. Now, I've already multiplied it, so I don't have to do it again. 30 times 7 is 210. So that's pretty easy. That's pretty easy. Let's go with Angela. What is 8 subtract 0? 8. Angela! What is 2 subtract 1? 1. Angela, is 18 greater than 30? No. So we're good. That number went directly above the 8. I said I had to have a 3-digit number. I bring down my next number, which is a 6. That's the last number I have to bring down. The last number I have to bring down. So, without busting, Andres, without busting, what's going to get as close to 186 as I can?
30 times 6.
30 times 6, because 30 times 6 is 180.
6.
I subtract, I have 6 as a remainder. Okay, I have 6 as a remainder. 6 as a remainder. Good. Victoria said, but I love getting problems right, so I want to check to see if I get it right. Well, this is how we can check. We can multiply 176 times 30 and then add 6. And if we do that, if we multiply our quotient times our divisor and add our remainder, we should be able to get 5,286. But I don't like remainders. Well, this problem works out perfectly if you don't like remainders, even though I made it up. If I change 5,286 to 5,286 and 0 tenths, does that change the value? No, it doesn't. And then I just bring that 0 down here. And how many times does 30 go into 60? 2. So then I wouldn't even have to add this. I would have 176.2 times 30, and that would equal 5,286. We're not there yet, but if you had a remainder, it would be remainder 6. If you added a decimal and a 0, then it would come down, it would be 2 tenths. Okay, so we're going to get there. This was just an example for you to see, because that's the way I roll. That's the bottom line, because Mr. McMurdo said so. Boom, shakalaka, peace out, God bless, love you. Do something kind today. Subscribe, save the bees.